a not so great story as the Dallas Mavericks fandom continues to crumble into dust as they are continuing their descent into NBA hell. Kyrie Irving is once again injured.
Yeah, it's cooked. It's cooked. I don't even know how to approach this anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like Mavericks fans are at this point like they need their own like organization to like fight for their rights.
What's the quote that Will Hardy had?
A masterclass of dog shit. That's what Will Hardy said. And that's what this is. The Mavericks are currently undergoing the single most depressing year a fan base has ever experienced in my life as an NBA fan. I feel like that's safe to say. There's been a lot of depressing ass teams over time. The Mavericks currently take the cake. And obviously, like we said, that's because Shams Charania confirmed this morning Dallas Mavericks All-Star Kyrie Irving has suffered a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee. Man, where do we begin? This is just unfortunate, right? This isn't because of anything Nico Harrison did. Isn't because of anything Anthony Davis did, so on. Nobody's at fault here. It's just unlucky. But man.
But it sure feels like it. It sure feels like it's somebody's fault.
Yeah. It feels like somebody's fucking curse. Somebody did a crime against humanity, a crime against whatever God you subscribe to. They're upset at the Dallas Mavericks for whatever reason. And while this is just unlucky, these motherfuckers have no room for error. They have no ability to be unlucky and weather the storm due to the decisions they have made, the hand they have dealt themselves. This feels like a death blow.
It 100% is. It 100% is a death blow. And I think it is the worst season that any fan base has had ever, because not only do you lose your future and your present in Luka Doncic, but you were sold, we're trading away our future because we think that we can win now with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. And you lost your now. So you have nothing. You have nothing to hang your hat on for the next 10 months, for the next 10 days, for the next 10 years. None of that matters because everything is gone. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And you can't even have one of those like fluke wins that happens whenever one of your like bench players and one of your rotational guys steps up, because they traded Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes went and won the Sixers a game. He broke their 9-game losing streak. That could have been the Mavericks. You could have had a Quentin Grimes masterclass for a win, and now that can't happen. So now you're just sitting here hoping that you can make up 5.5 losses or 5.5 wins, whatever, in the loss column and get the best draft pick. But I don't even know if that's going to happen because Phoenix and Portland have like hard schedules, so they might be losing too. So I
don't even think the Dallas Mavericks have control of their draft pick. It belongs to like someone who's been running the draft pick streets in OKC, bro. I think it's like
they have it this year.
But don't quote me on.
They have it this year.
They have it this year.
But even if they do have it this year, like usually I feel like NBA fans have a special talent and ability to like be delusional. I think you said the term hopium a couple of days ago or last week's podcast episode, Isaac. They have like a special ability to just be delusional, be high off the hopium and all that shit. But if you're like even the most delusional NBA fans can't find any sunshine in this dark ass cave that the Dallas Mavericks are in right now.
They are distraught.
Situation's fucked. Kyrie is hurt. You only got 32 minutes. Anthony Davis. What is there to look at and be proud of?
Nothing. It's a defeated fan base right now. And the problem is not only are they unfortunate, right? Not only did they lose a trade, not only did they lose a starter injury, not only did they lose another starter injury after that, not only have they also lost like 5 role players to injury, all their bigs are hurt. The cumulative effect of all this sucks, right? That alone would be something to give some, compassion to Mavericks fans. But you dealt a tough hand. Everybody on your team is dropping like flies. That sucks. On top of that, it just feels like the organization is at war with the fans. Like it is the fans are damn near about to do a coup d'etat because ever since the new ownership group came in and took over this team, it seemed like they just have been butting heads with the fan base left and right. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, they raised their season ticket prices by 8%, which is hilariously bad timing. The visual of that is just hysterical to say, we gave you guys a worse product and we're going to want more money for that now, actually.
Yes. And that's why today I said, like, whatever marches there will be, I will be on the front lines. Whatever Mavs fans need to do to revolt against it, I will be there, right? If you want to go crazy and allegedly, hypothetically, do something wild, I'll burn the stadium down with you. Like I would do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But it really is just like a terrible, terrible situation. And it feels everything that has happened with the Mavs is so crazy that all the conspiracy theories that we heard before, it's starting to be like, hey, well, maybe that's right. Because clearly something is at work, right? And we said that it's nobody's fault. I can't rule that out. I can't rule out that there is not a lot of puppeteering going on behind the scenes, and that ownership is not looking at all of these negative things happening and saying this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the worst situation.
We'll talk more about the organization and where the direction they're headed and the fans, but also this sucks. This is horrible for Kyrie Irving. It was reported today by Shams that Kyrie Irving was on track to receive a max contract this offseason before tearing his ACL. Which sounds to me like he probably was saying that Kyrie planned to stay as of now, and they plan to ride it out and build around this new era around him and Anthony Davis, and reward him and keep him around for the long term. See this vision through that Nico Harrison had decided that was more optimal than building around Luka Doncic, right? They clearly were committed to this, and Kyrie Irving was going to be a big, big part of that. And the last person of his caliber, his play style, body type, whatever, that we saw go through an ACL tear of the similar fashion was Jamal Murray, who tore his ACL earlier in the year than Kyrie Irving just did in March, and he missed the entirety of the next season. Now, maybe those are different people. Some people recover faster. Some people recover longer. We don't know what Kyrie Irving's timeline is going to be like or the level of tear or whatever. You have to assume most of next year is fucked. So not only are you dealing with the situation where you gave up the Luka Doncic dream, you decided to go down this new win now path around Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, you just lost like a year of that.
Jamal Murray also wasn't 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's the crazy part. And you look at the stretch that Kyrie was playing before this. He was averaging close to 40 minutes a night, heading into this. I'm not going to put that, specifically that's the reason why he tore his ACL, but you see the amount of wear and tear that they were putting on his body because they had to, because everybody was hurt. And as you move forward, you were going to keep asking that. And so we've seen it a lot of times with older stars. Like if there's ever a reason to load manage, it would be, hey, this guy's 33 years old. We can't play him like he's a 23-year-old. And so for Jamal Murray, for him to miss out on a whole bunch of time and for him to take some time to come back and start to look like the Jamal Murray of old, by the time, and again, I don't know Kyrie's body, but let's just assume that Kyrie, kind of recovers the way that everybody else does. By the time Kyrie is back to normal, he's going to be 34 years old. Yeah. It's going to be a really, really weird situation.
And someone in the chat made a good point that Jamal Murray's recovery involved a setback too. So, okay, so maybe that's not the best comparison. Maybe I shouldn't have made that one-to-one. It's not the same, clearly. But nevertheless, like Donovan's saying, even if it is a normal ACL recovery, which is what these days, like 8 months when you come back to the court with how advanced things have gotten, that requires a ramp-up period. We're already in March. If he's not going to be 100% until close to 12 months from now, that's assuming it's a 3-month ramp-up period, you lose this year, which sucks, obviously. You don't want to lose a single year in your win now mode. He said his idea of the future is 3 years from now. He's like, Nico Harrison's idea of the future is 3 years from now. So he's maximizing for a 36-month window. You lose one of those seasons, there goes 33% of your timeline. And you might lose most of next year and have to hope that before the playoffs start, you can get things going. Damn near 66% of your timeline is fucked. This is the worst case scenario. And on top of that, Anthony Davis might get shut down for the rest of the season too. Shams reported that he might also take the rest of this year off. So it might just be a total, utter disaster.
That was a given.
At this point in time, now all Dallas Mavericks fans are in Max Christie save us mode.
Good Lord.
PJ Washington save us mode. These guys are in Spencer Dinwiddie save us mode. That's so atrocious. That's sad. And another thing that's sad, back to touching back on Kyrie Irving too, is damn, he was supposed to get paid. And a part of my brain wants to be like, oh, the Dallas Mavericks are still going to pay him, maybe not as much. I've seen players before in the past, like Kevin Durant, get paid even though he's going to be out. But that's Kevin Durant that we're talking about. That's one of the 10 most talented players that we've ever seen. So it's hard to compare those two things. I feel like Kyrie's probably going to want to stay there and rehab and all that over there because they might pay him whatever he wants, because this organization clearly continuously makes questionable decisions. So even with all that being said, you're right. Like this, in my mind, the next 2 years, this year, next year, absolutely cooked. And it's hard to envision a 34-year-old Kyrie Irving and who knows how old Anthony Davis is going to be around that age, like still being or leading this team to any type of championship contention. That's tough.
Yeah, you're asking a lot.
And think about also like how herky jerky Kyrie's game is. Like his game doesn't lend himself to being an old man with bad knees. Right? Like
You got to get low with these knees.
Yeah,
He needs to lubricate them knees every night before he gets to do anything type of.
and it's gonna be tough. And again, like it's not a straight like 1-to-1 comparison because his teammate Klay Thompson also had the ACL and the Achilles. But for Klay, who before just ran like Klay was just running around, he's not doing a whole bunch of stop start accelerating super athletic like that. For Kyrie, who his entire game is based off of that, doing that 2 years later, I have no idea how it's going to look whenever he comes back, whenever he is starting to ramp up into real Kyrie mode. So it's tough. And it's just the worst season that you could possibly think of for the Mavs.
Yeah. And again, this season absolutely lost. That happens sometimes, right? That doesn't necessarily need to be linked back to everything else. You just get unlucky and your star gets hurt. That's bound to happen to some team at some point every single season. The issue is, like we talked about, they viewed this as a 3-year window, which maybe that doesn't mean literally, but that's what Nico Harrison said. So maybe we don't got to say that's a hard line. He expects to be bad in 3 years, whatever. If 2 of those 3 years are gone, starting in 2027, they do not have control of their first round picks. This year and next year, they got it. The next year, it's outright traded to the Hornets in the PJ Washington trade. And after that year, you have 3 straight seasons of pick swaps being owed to various teams. These deals were made when Nico Harrison had Luka Doncic, and he looked at his roster and said, well, fuck that. We can. Who cares? We can do a pick swap in 2028. Luka's going to be 29. It will be totally fine.
That's what I'm saying. There must be some type of drugs involved in Nico Harrison's system. There's no way to double back on every smart thought process you had and just become a whole new different
allegedly
person. There's no way in hell you just psychologically make all the right moves. You're on time with everything, and then you're just like, oh, fuck that. Fuck
allegedly.
Fuck the
hypothetically speaking
commitment that he made. Hypothetically, bro. What's going on there?
Yeah. So whether it's drugs, foul play, whatever may be going on in Nico Harrison's thought process, you have 2 years where you have control of your destiny before all the picks are owed, and you're going to lose a good chunk of that. I cannot overstate how depressing it is for Mavericks fans. Like the discourse I'm seeing online amongst these fans is crazy. I've never seen anything like this, and it's all deserved. None of it's overreaction. In fact, I think they should be more dramatic. I think there should be more desire to switch your team and get rid of your loyalty to this new organization that's run by new people who do not have your best interest in heart. I think there should be more desire for watching this team crumble while you root for the Spurs. I think we need to have more vengeance in your heart.
Bro, raising ticket prices by 8% would send me over the fucking bridge, bro.
Oh yeah,
give me
if I got that email and because I saw like the link, because obviously like you can pay up front, but you can like pay in pieces. You're telling me to go on a payment plan to get season tickets?
Oh my god.
Go to hell, kick rocks. I have nothing for you. I will not open up my Afterpay, my Klarna to go see this team. It's not going to happen. And yeah, man.
Chat. I answer this. I'll make a poll right now. Who has the worst future in the NBA? Like who has the least hope for the future in the NBA? Right? Who should be the saddest fan base? I'll make a poll between, let's say, Mavs, 76ers, Suns, and Bulls, just because the Bulls are always down bad, right? Who do you guys think should be the most sad of all these teams?
To me, when I hear the list of those teams, the Bulls, they're down bad. It's just self-inflicted. They're just like bad for no reason. They're in a great city. The food's great, bro. The jerseys are hard. One of the best logos of all time. But you choose to be bad. That's self-inflicted. That is just poor decision making.
No, they choose to be mid. They choose to be mid.
Mid, exactly. So I think that's fine. When I look at the team like the Phoenix Suns, okay, like although, like, yeah, the Bradley Beal thing sucks. KD's probably gonna get traded this summer. Who the fuck knows? You still have Devin Booker under contract. He's like 26, 27 years old. That's something you can like hang your hat on, you
Mhm.
know. But as for the Dallas Mavericks, there's no young star there. There's no like picks that you're clamoring for to be super happy about. You're already like kind of a
Jesus,
decent
Lord.
team.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Oh, I snorted.
Fuck you.
I had no idea.
Right
That's
now,
weird, man.
51% of the
Smoke
vote is going to the
detectors.
Mavs in the chat. Man, it's tough. And the worst part is, too, this was such a roller coaster of emotions, right? The trade breaks down. It happens. Luka Doncic is traded in the dead of night to Los Angeles Lakers. The world fucking stops. Everybody cries in Dallas. Everybody in Los Angeles throws their hands in the air and celebrates, right? There goes the normal range of emotions of winners and losers. A few days later, Anthony Davis is the first person to play of the stars in this trade, and he looks fan-fucking-tastic. It was a amazing half of basketball. He was going crazy. There was a sliver of hope that, okay, we lost Luka. That's going to sting for the rest of my goddamn life. But at least you have a great team led by another superstar that might lead us to doing something of note the rest of the season into the postseason. And the fact that that was snatched from you after 3 quarters of basketball, and here we are today, where more and more injury dominoes continue to fall. Like, I just keep thinking of more and more layers of why it's extra painful. It's not just that your front office is stupid. It's not just that you're unlucky. It's that the knife was driven in and twisted around like 8 different ways by 8 different karmic debts you had to pay.
It's raps. It's raps. Every other team at least has an off ramp. Like the Sixers, you have Tyrese Maxey, to where if the Joel Embiid thing goes even further south, and as Paul George, that contract doesn't work out, if you wanted to hit one of these reset buttons, you could, because you can say, all right, who wants Tyrese Maxey? And then you can get a haul back for him. The Suns, you still have Devin Booker. You can make a trade and trade Devin Booker and get off of that. Dallas, you played the only card that you had, and you played the biggest card that you had. You threw away your big joker to go get AD, who is 30-something years old, and you were relying on Kyrie, who is also 30 years old, or 30 plus, whatever.
Mm.
And so now the best trade value that you had to get yourself out of any type of situation is gone. So they have nothing to stay.
Dude,
They
you
have-
know what
they
I
have
feel the
nothing to
worst about
stand
in this
out.
situation? Outside of Kyrie, because he's obviously hurt. Bro, if you're Klay Thompson, how do you feel about this shit?
Abandoned. I feel like I
You
was
are
sold.
sick.
I feel like I was sold fucking snake oil. I feel like I was completely laid out to dry. Like I was sold a dream of playing next to the best ball handler of my goddamn generation, the next youthful star that's going to put me in a situation to have a great end of my career. And then that shit is gone in an instant. And now I'm out here with Max Christie and PJ Washington for the rest of the season. I would be so goddamn pissed. I hope he requests a trade in the summer.
You're supposed to play with Luka, Derek Lively, Kyrie Irving, and now boom, Kai Jones comes walking through those doors, hitting all types of crazy dances. on you,
Stars.
bro. Come on, now.
Goddamn stars, man. Fuck. But yeah, it's just like, I don't even like. There's so many other reasons. Like I just keep thinking of new reasons why this sucks for the fans. Like, what do you do if you're a Mavs fan tonight? Like, how are you spending your night?
I make a wheel. I spin the wheel, and whichever team it lands on, that's the new team I pick. That was liable, right? Like, or that was an option the night of the trade, and it's gotten so bad. You have if you are a Mavs fan, you have until opening night of next year to pick a new team. Now, if you decide that you don't want to switch, right? You want to rock with the MFFL, Mavs fan for life. Okay, go ahead. You are now entrenched in it, but you have a 6-month transfer portal to where you can go to any NBA team and nobody will be upset at you. And people will ask you who your team is, and you'll say, "Oh, I'm a fan of so and so. I used to root for the Mavs, but then they traded Luka," and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Right? Props to you.
Bro,
What do you
if
think-
you choose to be a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, like you're choosing to stay in an abusive relationship. You're choosing, like, your partner just doesn't fuck with you, doesn't respect you whatsoever.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
running up your pockets, bro. Don't give a fuck about your future.
You're crying
You're
together.
choosing. Yeah, exactly. You're choosing disaster. You're choosing turmoil for your life.
What do you think Rich Paul is thinking right now? As the representative for Anthony Davis, he's looking at his client, one of his premier clients, right? Anthony Davis is a absolute superstar, one of the most high-profile players in the NBA. Outside of LeBron James, he's probably his biggest priority as an agent. You see him get shifted off away from Los Angeles. He had no desire to go there. He goes to Dallas. Okay, we're going to be a good team. I'm the man again. I get what I want, right? It's a good situation for me. I won't be upset that I got shifted in the middle of the night to another team. But then this happens, and you have no faith in the organization because the fact that they got you was fucking stupid in the first place and a bad sign of competency. They made a lot of other dumb decisions. They got rid of Quinn Grimes for no reason. They did all these other small, stupid things that added up. And then you get struck with this misfortune, and you know that you can shut down this year and get healthy. Fine, that's good for you. But you know you're coming back next year to a team that is not equipped to make you compete for one of your final prime years before you eventually hit that 35-year-old threshold as a big man. How can you possibly feel good about the situation you are in?
You don't. If you're Rich Paul, you are on the phone with Anthony Davis, and you said, "Good news." You said, "Good news. We got your payment." Bad news. They gave you life. That is the worst situation to be in. It's awful. I have no idea where Anthony Davis goes after this. So is there a way out? Free Anthony Davis.
So was it Isaac knows how to make people feel like shit so well? Painted the whole story. Dude, it's tough. Like, and
it's hard to make the Dallas Mavericks feel like shit, bro.
I'm not just laying out the turn of events. I didn't.
Yeah, you're fact. Yeah.
Like, what does he do there? Like, I guess I don't know if you can request a trade because that's a bad look.
I'm going to China. I'm not playing with these guys. I'm not doing it.
I mean, the only thing that makes me feel good about the Anthony Davis situation is that, like, at least someone wants him. At least someone's willing to respect his request of just like, yo, I want to play the 4 position. Boom. Say no more. We want you to play the 4 position and thrive beautifully alongside Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. But although that's the case, like, you have to be, like you said, Isaac, you have to be realistic with the outcome of your situation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, he wants to win. He's a competitor.
Man, I think about 27 teams out there would like to respect Anthony Davis. I think people are lining up and would love to respect Anthony Davis in their door, in their uniform. I think that would be no problem to find another team that lets him play the power forward, lets him come in and be the star. I would sleep well at night when it comes to thinking about how many teams would give me that opportunity. I don't think that's nearly exclusive to the Dallas Mavericks.
If you're a team right now, what would the package look like if you called the Mavericks up this summer and said,
name a team,
we want AD? I don't know. I did this on the spot. I wasn't prepared.
The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks.
The Hawks.
Oh, everybody. I don't know if I think the Hawks should be in the interest of going the other way. But let's say they want to get Trae Young, that guy. Would you get Ricochet all the money needed and whatever picks you want? Jalen Johnson, AD, Trae Young, that can be your core. Figure everything else out.
That's a beautiful team.
3 first-round picks, Ricochet, and salary filler, whoever that may be. I can't remember.
What if OKC tried to make a move on Anthony Davis?
Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe, 2 first-round picks. I think we get it done.
2 first-round picks. Nico Harrison might ask for just a second, bro.
Yeah, he might keep him. I don't even want him. Greed is the enemy of goodness. Get it away from me.
Let's have the Spurs call Dallas. Let's get AD and Wemby.
That would be fucking insane.
Let's get that going.
Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on here. This just feels like a funeral for the Dallas Mavericks fans. I don't have much more to say other than you should be sad. And I wish I had a silver lining for you, but I just don't. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a good thing you'll get a top pick, right? Swell. If Anthony Davis is already hurt, I guess maybe you can get a lottery pick out of this and have another Derek Lively situation where maybe you luck into a 10th pick or so that is somebody that can really low-key change the trajectory of wherever this is going. That's possible.
That's the only hope.
Maybe see that.
But
maybe
that's
see
hard.
that.
That's the only hope. But I looked at it last night. The Suns have like 21 games. The Blazers have 20 games left. Out of all the teams in the league, the Suns have the hardest remaining schedule.
Tough.
And the Blazers have the 4th hardest remaining schedule.
Tough.
So the 2 teams ahead of you that you would need to jump to start getting into like realistic, actual like good odds to start climbing up, they are also about to lose. The Suns are 2-8 in their last 10, right? The Blazers, their next 4 is tough. And they've been playing well, but they have like legitimate contenders coming up on their schedule. I don't know if Dallas is going to be able to catch up to Portland or to Phoenix to actually jump them. So they might just be in that very weird spot of the lottery where you're not at the end, like you're not 13 or 14, but you're not high enough to get the real guy. So now you really have to be smart and think about who you want to draft, who has some good value, and in that range where really anything can go, it's not the most appealing thing to have the 11th pick in the draft.
Moral of the story, you're fucking fucked. I'm sorry. It's not going to be a good year for you. And I think you should try to put your faith in the Dallas Cowboys. That's probably a better.
Hey, I promise you. Do not put your faith in them.
It's a better roll of the dice.
Leave. No, leave. You better be either a Texas Rangers fan or find another basketball team to root for.
Are they good at hockey?
Not for you.
Is Dallas good at hockey? I don't know. Probably.
Do they even
The
have
Stars?
a hockey team?
They'd be all right. The Stars be all right, I think.
You all
I don't know.
be all right is better than what you got here.
I don't do hockey. That's not me.